Hello and welcome to the Franchise Marketing Show. The video or the podcast you're about to watch or listen to was recorded at the British and International Franchise Exhibition at Olympia. It was a very busy event, so there was a little bit of background noise, so it wasn't filmed in a recording studio or anything like that, but it is a really interesting conversation. Hope you enjoy it. So welcome to the Franchise Marketing Show at the British and International Franchise Exhibition. I'm joined by Nick Hart from Clip and Climb. Welcome.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you for coming on the show. Tell us a little bit about Clip and Climb and tell us about how you got involved as well.
So, Clip and Climb, we're all about family leisure, family attractions, creating spaces where people can come and have a great time, being active and being together as a family. My role with Clip and Climb, I've dealt with the brand for over 10 years from a customer, from a buyer perspective, and the opportunity to work with them became available. And knowing the brand, having kind of that knowledge and confidence in the product, I leapt at the opportunity to get involved.
I've seen a few different sites, Clip and Climb, and it's all quite similar, like colour scheme, and like the experience looks very similar across the board. It's all very bright and very, it's Clip and Climb as soon as you get there. So what do you think helps the brand stand out? Or is it something else from what I've mentioned, or is it like that's
No, certainly you're right in, we're all about kind of that vibrant, fun look. We've made a very, very kind of conscious decision to use bright colours so that we don't sort of segregate our market. We don't pigeonhole ourselves specifically for children. It keeps it approachable for everybody from kind of 2 years all the way through to corporate activity. And very much it's the strength of the brand and the quality of the product that really drives it. We're the original innovator of the concept, and as such we've kind of been able to grow it with, there's over 45 different climbing walls now that offer unique challenges on each one.
There's one at our local leisure centre, and my 4-year-old, I'm desperate to take him because I really want to go on it, but there's like a soft play next door and he goes to the soft play, and I'm really like, let's go to that. But it seems like there's a little bit older children, but you said 2 years old go.
Yeah, so we developed something called Mini Mountaineers, which are parent-child sessions for people like yourself. It's an opportunity where you can go and have a meaningful experience for yourself and for your little one, and together. Soft play is fantastic. It caps out at an age range, and we're doing more and more sites now where we're integrating soft play alongside Clip and Climb to give the full family experience.
To be honest, I think my son is probably ready for it because he's like climbing all over the sofa. He's climbing up on the sideboard to like get biscuits and stuff. So I think he's ready to start climbing on bigger things.
Yeah, it's a natural thing.
Yeah.
Kids, as part of their development, learn to climb. So if they can do that in a way that excites them, then hopefully they get kind of a love and a passion for it that they can then continue with.
Nice. What does a typical franchisee look like? Because I'm trying to think of like what relevant experience would be. Like, would they have like leisure experience, or would they have relevant experience, or is it varies?
It varies. Leisure experience is fantastic, but very much what we look for is we're going to build 5, 10, 15 plus year relationships with our franchisees. So we want to work with people that we feel we can have those relationships with and want to have those relationships with us. We help and we support and we train, but ultimately we've got to have that good working relationship. So there is no one particular franchisee that we look for.
Do franchisees own like multiple units, or is it like they own like that area and that's like there's one Clip and Climb there? How does it work?
Yeah, so each centre does have its own territory, because what we want to do is maximise the success of each site. We do have owners and operators that are either having multiple sites or certainly looking at growing into multiple sites, but very much we want to make sure that each site can function independently and has a big enough customer base that we're not going to be competing from one side to another, because it's detrimental to the owners and it's detrimental to us as a brand.
What does a typical day look like for a franchisee then? Like, are they involved like in the day-to-day running of it, or are they sort of maybe behind the scenes a bit more?
There's flexibility. We have owners and franchisees that work in both capacities. So we have husband and wife teams that manage the centre between them on a full-time day-to-day basis. So they're really involved on the ground. They love working with customers and seeing people come in. One of our owners, I think he sums it up with, he doesn't sell climbing, he's selling fun. And what it means is he loves going to work each day because he makes people happy. But then on the other aspect of that is we have some owners and franchisees that have a professional career which limits their time and their involvement. All we look for and all we ask for is they have some involvement regularly with the business, because if they don't love it and if they are not passionate about it, it's hard for them to drive it.
Yeah.
So
when they join, like, do they have a typical thing that they say of like the reason why they joined?
again, it varies hugely. What we're seeing is a lot more investors from maybe a very corporate background, where they're used to working 50, 60 hours a week in really high pressure environments, and really want to work in an environment where they enjoy it, and it makes people happy.
What kind of plans do you have for the future as well? Like, are you just sort of continuing as you are? Is there anything like you want to change about how it works, or is it, what kind of things are you thinking about?
So we're realistic about growth. We're interested in opening quality facilities, and of course, we have numbers that we want to grow too. But for us, it's about making each site as good as it can possibly be. The future for us, we have 7 franchises open in the UK at the moment. We're certainly looking to double that and beyond, because there's a lot of kind of very prime locations nationwide that are still available. So that's our short-term plan. And then we already operate overseas. We have 350 centres worldwide. So I guess the longer-term approach is to be franchising internationally.
All right, nice. That's cool. I've got some quick-fire questions for you as
Go
well.
for it.
If you were going to become a franchisee of any other brand, who would it be and why?
Ooh. For me personally, I think it would probably have to be. It's a great question.
Yeah.
I'd probably go sort of coffee, because
nice.
I'm a big coffee fan,
Yeah, cool.
and if it's a product that I enjoy, then I think it's something that I can give it my all and like it.
Nice. Who in the sector do you admire or are inspired by, and why?
So for us, the sector's sort of pretty small. It's quite inspiring to sort of look at people like Gravity, like Flip Out, that have innovation and sort of growth within their products, and it's certainly something that we've built is a very large product portfolio outside of pigeonholing ourselves into a climbing room business.
Yeah.
But yeah, anybody that's innovating and sort of pushing boundaries, really.
Nice. Yeah, it feels like clip and climb. It's like with what you do. When I was younger, it was kind of like you did that when you were on a school trip, and like you went to you went away for a week, and that was one of the activities.
Yeah.
And now it's like, you can do it. Like you can just go and do it anytime you want. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I think so, and I think there's a lot of kind of traditional climbing centres in the UK, and they have real sort of barriers to entry, particularly for young people. You need knowledge, skills, experience, equipment, and obviously all of that costs money. Whereas with the Clip and Climb product, if you could walk past us in the street and decide that looks great,
Yeah.
you could come in we take you through a safety briefing, and you're straight into the experience.
Yeah.
And like I say, hopefully, that for a lot of people, that's their first taste of climbing.
Yeah. I remember I was about 10 when I first went, and I was well nervous. So I'm just looking forward to taking my son, because I know he'll be like well up for it. So it'll be really cool.
Yeah, and little ones don't have fear.
No.
You know, they haven't
Oh my God,
learned
it's so
that
like
concept of
he's
fear
like
yet.
jumping from one sofa to the other, and I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah, and then as an adult, you sort of, your brain works and rationalises it in a different way.
I've definitely developed more fear for things since becoming a parent as well. I've been more wary, like, if I do that, that could like kill or injure me. So
I think for an activity like ours, there has to be a perception of risk.
Yeah.
Because when people think this is a little bit risky, it gives it that fun, excitement element. But from an operator perspective, we want to give that perception, but actually minimise that risk as much as we possibly can.
That's why I think like the colour schemes work really well, because it's like fun, and like you walk past, you're like, like you notice it, and it looks like fun and engaging, and like, I want to go and do that. That looks really cool. And then when you see people doing it and climbing it, it's like, and like there's different like walls as well, isn't there?
There are, there's 45 different ones.
Yeah. So you sort of get there's a different challenge on every one, really. So it's nice.
And it's a challenge to the individual as well.
Yeah.
What you may find sort of easy and straightforward, and somebody else may find more challenging, and vice versa. So it's very nice that you can have that personal sort of challenge with it, and it's a competition against yourself. Or you take our speedballs, and maybe your son at 4 is probably not a fair competition at the moment, but you know, give him a couple of years, and you guys can have a competitive aspect to it as well.
Cool. Last quick fire question. What one thing could we do as a sector, as in franchising, to improve the awareness of franchising?
I think it's about transparency. You know, not all franchise businesses appear as a franchise business. So I think it's raising awareness of what's available within the market is the main thing for me.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Thanks for coming on the show. What's the best way for people to get in touch with you?
If they visit www.clipandclimb.co.uk, they can click the link and find out more, and we'll get in touch and have a proper chat.
Perfect. Cool. Cheers.
Nice. Thanks, mate.